I took off my wedding ring in the hotel elevator, just slipped it right off my finger like it was nothing, like 7 years meant nothing. The conference was supposed to be 3 days in Chicago. Sarah had helped me pack, folded my shirts the way she always does with those perfect creases down the front. She kissed me goodbye at the door, told me to call her every night. I promised I would. I meant it when I said it. The first day went fine. Presentations, networking lunch, the usual corporate theater. I called Sarah that night from my room, told her about the sessions, asked about her day. Normal husband stuff, but something felt different. Maybe it was being in a different city, or maybe it was just the freedom of nobody knowing who I was. That's when I met her at the hotel bar. She was there for the same conference, worked for a competitor in Denver. Dark hair, incredible smile, and when she laughed at something I said, I felt something I hadn't felt in I don't know how long. We talked for 2 hours, just talked, about work at first, then about everything else. She mentioned she was divorced the year before, how hard it had been. I could have mentioned Sarah then, should have. Instead, I nodded and said something about how tough relationships could be. Not exactly a lie, but not exactly the truth either. When she asked if I wanted to get dinner the next night, I heard myself saying yes before I could think about it. That's when I took the ring off in the elevator, going up to my room, staring at my reflection in those polished doors, and I just slipped it off, put it in my pocket like it was loose change. Dinner turned into drinks. Drinks turned into walking through downtown Chicago until midnight, talking about dreams we'd given up on, places we wanted to travel, books we loved. She was brilliant, funny. Whenever she looked at me, I felt like the person I used to be before mortgages and routine and the slow fade that happens when you've been married long enough. We ended up back at the hotel. Once in the lobby, she touched my arm and asked if I wanted to come up for coffee. We both knew what she was really asking, and I wanted to. God, I wanted to so badly it hurt, but I couldn't. Not because I suddenly remembered my wedding vows or had some moment of clarity. I couldn't because I kept thinking about Sarah folding my shirts. So I told Alina I had an early flight, another lie. I had one more day at the conference. She looked disappointed but smiled anyway and said maybe we'd run into each other at breakfast. I knew we wouldn't. I was going to avoid her for the rest of the trip. But here's the thing I can't get past. Here's what keeps me awake at night. When I got back to my room, I didn't put the ring back on. I kept it off for the entire next day. Went to sessions, ate lunch, made small talk with other attendees, all while pretending to be single. Not because I was planning to cheat. I'd already decided I wouldn't, but because I liked how it felt. I liked being David from Portland instead of Sarah's husband David. I liked when the woman at the coffee cart flirted with me. I liked not having to mention my wife when people asked about my weekend plans. For one day, I got to be someone who didn't come home to the same conversations about grocery lists and whose turn it was to take out the trash. I put the ring back on at the airport, slipped it on my finger like nothing had happened, called Sarah from the gate, told her I missed her, told her I couldn't wait to be home. All true, but not the whole truth. She picked me up with flowers in the car, actual flowers because she'd missed me too, and when she asked how the conference went, I told her about the presentations and the networking. I didn't tell her about Alina. I didn't tell her about the ring. I didn't tell her that for 24 hours I'd pretended our marriage didn't exist. It's been 3 months since Chicago. Sarah and I are fine, better than fine actually. We've been talking more, planning a trip for our anniversary, but I still think about that elevator, about the weight of the ring in my pocket and how light my hand felt without it. I didn't cheat on my wife, but I'm not sure that makes me innocent. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments.